Hmm.
1 second, sir. Thank you again. We're just waiting on the notification.
Yes, sir.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. And boom. Okay, and we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have an incredible guest with us, one who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration. That's none other than the wonderful artist known as Gat Turner. First of all, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, God. How you doing, beloved?
Man, I'm doing fine, sir.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
man, this is an extreme honor for myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast.
Hey, the honor is all mine, beloved.
Yes, sir. Well, we want to get straight into it. Right now, the social media world has been buzzing. Everybody on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram is talking about a new project from Gat Turner.
Praise
Uh,
Allah.
how did that come about, and what's the inspiration behind it?
Well, the inspiration behind it, brother, is it's called The Resurrection of Gat Turner. The last project I did was called The Death of Gat Turner. Now, what I meant by that was that, I'm letting the world die in me so that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and Master Farah Muhammad can live in me, right? So it was like I took a little time off from making music, right? And I focused on getting my family secure. I had a situation where I had open heart surgery. My son drowned, So I went through a number of trials, you know what I mean? And so I took a little time off from making music. And me coming back with this project, I'm telling everybody about the process of my absence, right? So that's what the resurrection of Gat Turner is. It's like, I'm here again. And especially in this time, this day that we living in now, with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan expounding wisdom about the day that we living in now through the criterion, we at the door, this thing is almost over. So what my goal is and what my mission is to take what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches and put it over a beat, right? So when I put that over a beat, maybe somebody who doesn't have the patience to sit down and watch a lecture of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, they should have the patience to listen to a song or watch a video. You know what I mean? And then I just plant a seed on them. And from that point on, they'll look for the man of God or look for one of his disciples. Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, excellent. My
Yes,
sister
sir.
Miriam sends the greetings. Brother Daniel E. Muhammad sends the greetings.
Praise
And
be
our
to
sister
Allah.
Brandy Muhammad sends the greetings as well. Walaikum
Praise
salam
be
to
to
you
Allah.
all.
Wa alaikum salam, family.
Okay. Well, let's start with the open heart surgery. How was that, and what advice would you give to people who are dealing with surgery?
Well, with that situation, man, I actually was poisoned about a decade ago, right? And when I was poisoned, it affected my body in such a negative way. I was no longer able to become regular, without taking herbs. My blood pressure shot up and I was not able to bring it down naturally. And the doctors didn't know at that time what was ailing me. They did admit that something happened to me, and they did admit that the white blood cells that fight off toxins in my body were abnormally charged, but they had no idea what was going on with me, and they left it at that too. I had to go find some naturopath doctors. I actually, I don't know if you remember when Dr. Alim did a demonstration at Mos Mariam with the nutritional response piece. You may not remember that, but Dr. Alim did a demonstration with a nutritional response demonstration. And because I was familiar with that, I sought out a nutritional response physician in Chicago, it was a sister called Lakashay Muhammad, right? I thank Allah for Sister Lakashay because she had brought a brother up who did the same type of thing that Dr. Alim did. And he did a, he did an analysis of it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so in his analysis, he kind of found what was going on with me. And he gave me some herbs, right? And some supplements. And I swear to God, Brother Joshua, when I took the supplements, it was like somebody turned the light on. Like I could see better. That's how much pain I was in. And man, it was rough, man. But I had a brother Antoine Muhammad, man. He knew what was going on with me. He's a brother that we came in the ranks like around the same time. And he came and got me. I wasn't working, man. I had been bedridden. I was on crutches. That brother came and got me and took me to that sister. He paid for everything and everything. And after that brother examined me and gave me some supplements, it was like I was on the road to recovery at that particular time. But I had the substance in my body for a little too long now, and I had high blood pressure for a little too long. So ended up that I had 5 clogged arteries, major arteries, with like 95% blockage, right? Mm-hmm. So, funny thing, I'm a director at a substance abuse clinic, domestic violence agency, and the woman who's the founder of the agency, she very rarely comes in, but she happened to come in this particular day, and I had a coughing spell. And she said, yeah, why don't you go get that checked out? And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And she was like, don't blow me off, boy. She like Cookie Lion or somebody, don't blow me off, boy. Go get that checked out and don't come back unless you come back with a doctor's excuse. So now this woman never comes in the office, bro. So I'm like, why is she tripping? But when I went to the doctor, man, they kept me. She saved my life. They kept me, man. All praises due to Allah. And they, once they examined me, they told me, that I needed to have open heart surgery. And brother, I was like, man, these devils trying to kill me, And this was all happening around the time of Christmas. So they were saying, we can't do the surgery now, so we're going to let you go home and get your affairs in order. And, then you come back after the Christmas holiday, right? But in my mind, I'm thinking, I ain't never coming back. These people trying to kill me, right? And I was like, Allah, you're going to have to give me a sign if you want me to let these people cut on me, right? And man, when I met my surgeon, brother, his name was Al-Masi, right? And for your listening audience, if anybody is unfamiliar with that name, it simply means the Messiah. And that's a very uncommon name in the Muslim world. Like, you ever met somebody named Al-Masi before?
No, sir. No, sir.
Me neither. So when he said Al-Masi, it brought to mind when the minister said that his doctor's name was Grace.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. And he was like, oh, okay, Allah got it. So it was the same type of thing with me. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Yes, wonderful.
Sir. Yes, sir. And since then, what advice would you give to other people who are, well, first of all, let's go back to the poisoning.
Yes, sir.
Where do you think that you were poisoned?
I don't know, brother. I actually have no idea, man. I really don't. I have no idea. I just know that my body was like, one of the doctors said it was mercury. I ended up having a little Jewish chiropractor that ran a bunch of tests on me. And, told me about some things that was in my body that shouldn't be in my body. But I have no idea how that stuff got in my body, man.
Mm.
I really don't, you know. But I just know that, you know, if Allah is with you, it don't matter who against you. You know what I'm saying? Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Beautiful, beautiful. And
Yes.
thank you, sir. I can't wait to put this on YouTube. And thank everyone who was watching.
Praise be to Allah.
And Brother Daniel said, wow, that Brother Allah really had your back. My sister Naima sends her greetings as well. And thank everybody for continuing to watch the People's Podcast.
Yeah.
Every like, share, and subscription and comment on YouTube counts, and comment on Facebook. Thank you all very much. Well, you mentioned your son. What took place?
Well, what took place was now, you know, my wife and I, we are like the real life Brady bunch, you know, Muhammad bunch, you know. So when we got together, I had 3 children. She had 3 children, right? And we've since had 3 together, right? So, you know, we don't believe in stepchildren. So, you know, the Debussy, he's my son, you know. So I had him for more than half his life, took care of him, you know. But of course, you know, he had his biological father was in his life as well, right? So he ended up going to a place called Lake Troy or East Troy with his father. And to make a long story short, he was on some little landing, and make a long story short, man, he drowned, you know. So, and you know, that was a very, very difficult time for my family, you know. And you know, I talk about it a little bit on my project. You know, I got a couple songs where, you know, one song I talk about how I felt, you know, and another song, you know, I just made for him, you know. So, but it was very, very difficult, man. It was the toughest trial that I ever had to go through. And like I told you, I went through open heart surgery. So I done been poisoned, man. I couldn't even walk for 6 months. But none of those, I done been divorced, you know, but none of those can compare to losing a son, you know. It's the most difficult trial that I had to go through, you know. And, you know, it was difficult because, you know, I had to hold it down for my wife and even for his biological father, you know, and for my children, you know. So, you know, him and my son shared a room for 8 years, you know. One of my daughters is the same age as him, so they went to school together. People thought they were twins, you know. So, you know, so it was very, very difficult. And, you know, Allah really showed me something about myself, you know, because I had to put everything together. I had to put all of the arrangements together, you know, and, you know, it was very difficult, but Allah showed me that I had strength that I didn't know I had, because really the strength was him. You know what I'm saying? Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Beautiful, yes. Beautiful. Yes, sir.
Yes,
and
sir.
May Allah be pleased, and may Allah comfort you and your family.
Yes, sir. Thank you, beloved.
No problem, sir. Now, what advice would you give to other parents who had to deal with this and or who are dealing with this?
Man, I would say seek refuge in Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, man. Nurse on the words of the Messiah in our midst, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, man. That's what I did. I nursed on his words, brother. He had just lost Louis Jr., may Allah be pleased with him, you know, and I was in attendance for his janazah, you know, and, you know, little did I know that in a couple of weeks, I would be going through the same thing. But I watched how the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan went through that. I watched him, you know, and I went back to rewatch it. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. And I studied the words that he said, you know, and I would repeat over and over again the refuge prayer to my wife, you know, and that prayer got us through it, man. And we didn't get no comfort and no strength from no spook God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Master Farad Muhammad upheld us.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir. So praise be to Allah. That's the advice I would give, man. Seek refuge in Allah, the God that the messenger represents to us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Beautiful.
sir. Praise be to
Praise
Allah.
be to Allah. Yes, sir.
Yes,
My
sir.
sister Miriam says, may Allah continue to bless you, your wife, and your entire family to have comfort. My sister Naima says, may Allah be pleased and oh Allah. And then my sister Miriam says, all praises to Allah.
Thank
Excellent.
you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well, speaking of Allah, the messenger and the Messiah,
Yes,
when
sir.
did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Oh man, I first heard the teachings in, I had to say, like 93.
Mm.
The first lecture that I heard was Jackson, Mississippi, A Day of Reckoning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Funny story, man. I had a little girlfriend at that time. So, I had bought a tape from one of the brothers on the street. I was kind of in the street, but I respected the FOI. So I had told myself, anytime I see the FOI out there, man, I'm out here getting this illegal money. I'm gonna give them some up. Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. So I ended up buying everything the brother had. He had that tape. And so I put it on, and I was like, man, what kind of preacher is this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like, damn, so it was so powerful. And, the minister was saying, that he was going to bring the floods down on Mississippi on that.
Absolutely. Tape, right? Yes, sir.
So I'm like, man, that's the trip right there. Dude is powerful. So maybe a day or so go by. And, I was, sleep with the sister that I was with. And, at this time, during this time, the news would go off. It would come on late and, and that would be the last thing you saw. So the news came on and I saw people putting sandbags up, right? And water coming, And I'm like, man, what is this? So I turned it up. It was Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi, brother. So I'm like, yo, Farrakhan is Jesus,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, and she like, because we had been smoking or whatever. Look, man, this woman was thinking that I had smoked some bad stuff,
Yes, sir.
She was ready to call my mother. But I'm like, look, you smoke the same thing I smoke. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm telling you. Farrakhan is Jesus. He called down the wrath on Mississippi, right? And I was trying to get her to watch it, man. She thought I was bugging, right? And I really was bugging. But after that, I was a believer after that. I didn't join after that, but I was a believer after that, right? So after that, man, a couple years later, I went to the Million Man March. That was such a powerful display, magical, Long live the spirit of the Million Man March.
Long live the spirit of the Million Man March, for sure.
Yeah. So, and the rest is history, man. I had told myself, look, I got to change, and the rest is history, man. A couple years later, I got my ex. Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Excellent, excellent. Well, we have a few more questions for you, and so many people showing you love. Can't wait to put this on YouTube. We want to go. I want to go stay right there on the Million Man March for sure, especially because of the anniversary of it.
Yes, sir.
But before we do, I want to make sure that I give a quick 60-second commercial break to all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast this season. I want to thank everyone who was watching. If you would like to be a sponsor and or donor, please Cash App the People's Podcast. I thank everybody who does it publicly and anonymous. My brother Rashad, Street Premiere Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out to him if you need any of that. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book. Please go get both of those on Amazon. My sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country and right here in the studio in Atlanta, Georgia. We love our tiny dancers. Sister Rashida Rafat, Rod Communications. If you are working on a book and you need copy editing, media relations, content development, if you're working on a book, please reach out to Sister Rashida Rafat, Rod Communications. Conflict mediation with our brother student minister Robert L. Muhammad of Austin, Texas. He does an amazing job in Austin in the Southwest region, squashing the beef. Thank you very much, sir. Sister Fudia Muhammad, his wife, she wrote a book called Children of the Most High, Giving Birth to a God, The Science of Child Rearing. Please reach out to Sister Fudia and read that book. Brother Kenneth, bow tie maker extraordinaire. He'll ship bow ties to you anywhere in the country. Please reach out to Brother Kenneth. Thank you very much. Sister Sherry Muhammad, Asiatic Minds Online, a virtual school where they're raising young kings and queens. You can send your children to school virtually, asiaticminds.com. Thank you very much, Sister Sherry Muhammad. Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry's Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad, COVID-19 disinfecting cleaning services out of Chicago. Thank you very much. We're coming right back to our brother Gat Turner. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, abdulsharif.com, and his new book, Down Is Not Out. Thank you. Get both of those. My two books, Cleopatra, children's book, and also No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Thank you all very much. Right back to our brother Gat Turner. Boom. Okay, brother Gat.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, hold on, Sister Amina Hawk is sending the greetings. And I'm proud of you
Wow.
more, Sister Amina Hawk. Boom. And thank you, Brother Daniel. Okay, yes, sir. So, Brother Gat, you overcome open heart surgery. You overcome the passing of the drowning of your son, being poisoned so much. Well, what gives you what has been your greatest joy in life?
Man, my greatest joy, beloved, has been coming into the understanding of who God is and who God's representative is, right? Once I found out that God was a man, brother, my life changed from that point. And it was like, I knew whatever trial I went through, that I could overcome it, bro. You know, the Honorable Minister Min Farrakhan gave us study guides, man. And I dive into them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, I mean, anything that the minister says, I try to listen to it. I try to read it, you know, and it's those words and it's that wisdom that has allowed me to have a measure of success in everything that I've done, bro. You know, so I thank Allah, but that is really what gives me joy, man. Just watching other people's gifts manifest, fishing somebody in the mosque, man, and watching them come through, bringing them stage by stage till they get their X, and watching their gifts come out of them, man. You know, that's really what gives me joy, man. You know, I mean, it's nothing like watching Allah open up a gift in somebody. It's nothing like that, man. It's nothing like it, bro. So that's what gives me joy, man. That's what I love, man. I love to fish. I love to drop a seed on somebody and watch it open them up. Watch them come into the realization of the reality of God, man. I love that.
Yes, sir. Well,
Yes.
Brother Gat, what city are you from, and what city did you come into?
I'm from Milwaukee, and that's the city that I got my ex at too.
Okay, so from Milwaukee. Okay, yes, sir. Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Cool. So yes, I've been to Milwaukee quite a few times, and been to Wisconsin Dells, and matter of fact, we used to go to junior FY camp in Milwaukee. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I
yes,
used to be on post up there.
Okay, praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to Milwaukee. All right.
Yes, sir.
My next question for you, sir, is the Million Man March.
Yes,
so
sir.
it's the anniversary was yesterday, and all of these years since the Million Man March, what has impacted? I wasn't blessed to go, But for those of us who missed the Mean Man March, what did we miss? Like, what was it like for people who went?
Well, it was like, you know, we not spooky, but it was magical, right? It seemed like it was magic to me, bro. So keep in mind now that I'm straight up a Negro too. So I'm there, I'm strapped. I'm thinking, man, they probably gonna try to kill the brothers. If they gonna try to kill us here, I'm gonna be bussing too. You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't know what I was thinking, but I knew I had to be there, right? And when I was there, man, I got so many stories, but it was just so magical. Like every step, like you take 2 or 3 steps, you'll meet a brother. Oh, brother, where you from? Oh, man, you from here? Yes, sir. Ooh. Oh, man, I never met a brother from Milwaukee before. Well, and it was like that on Saturday and Sunday. You know what I mean? Because the marches was on Monday. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was just as magical. It was just as magical. So Monday, you know, I said, okay, well, let's go out there early, you know, because, you know, I don't want to be way in the back. So we went out, man. It must have been 5, 6 o'clock. And Sheikh Tajani, you remember him?
Yes, sir.
Sheikh Tajani was calling me a Don, right? So at this point, you know, I don't know what that is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But it was touching my soul though, right? And it had to be a couple 100,000 people out there already, right? Because we still didn't walk right up to the front. And this is like at 5 a.m, right? So I'm like, man, what is this, right? And so, you know, we were out there. I went with a few brothers from the city, and I was just tripping off how nice everybody was, how cordial everybody was, and people just crying, you know, and big old strong brothers just breaking down unashamed, you know what I mean? And oh, I got a good story for you, man. I got to tell you this story, man. So we were trying to fast, right? You know, we were fasting, right? So, you know, we watching the lecture, and an older brother fell on me, right? And I turned around, hey man, you okay? He's like, yeah, man, I'm okay. We kind of guided him to the ground. He said, yeah, man, I was trying to fast, but I'm weak. You know, you have anything to eat? I said, nah, man, I'm fasting, bro. You know, I got a bottle of water, you know, gave him a bottle of water. I asked people around us, man, y'all got anything to eat? Dude is weak. Nobody had nothing. So I ain't think nothing else about it, right? Turn around, finish listening to the chief, right? So I turned back around after a few minutes to check on him, you know. Sir, you okay? He said, yeah, I'm just a little hungry, man. I said, all right, man, well, hold on. It might not be too much longer. But I see something silver in the distance, right? Something little and silver in the distance. And I'm like, you know, I wonder what that is, you know, but I didn't think nothing else about it, right? So I turned back around, finished listening to the chief. About 10 minutes later, somebody patted me on the shoulder and gave me a sub sandwich and some foil. They passed it like 2 miles. You hear me, brother? They passed that sandwich a couple miles. When I seen that sandwich, it was little. You see what I'm saying? I'm wondering, like, what is that? I wonder. The word had went like a mile down. And I gave that man the sub sandwich, man. He just broke down. Said, I could die now, man. But I couldn't believe that, you know? I was like, man, I don't know what this is.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, man, but that day changed my life. Nobody could ever say nothing to me about the minister after that. You know, yeah, man, but nah, all praise is due to Allah, bro. Praise. And I got a million stories. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay, well, I wanted to ask you about oh no, your song. Do you have any a 16 or 8 that you want to, give to the people real quick
Oh yeah, I could give you something.
from the project?
Well, you know what? I could give you something from the project, but I'd rather give you something else.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. This piece is called I Never Loved a Man. Yeah. I never loved a man, son of man, till I heard you speak. To the sheep, we were 2 and 6 ciphers deep. Didn't eat, no work, no running the street. And for a week, I had tears running down my cheek. Muhammad's mystique made me fall down, pound the concrete, because I was asleep and caught in the web of deceit. But you back down the beast in the face of defeat, like no retreat, still blossomed in the cold heat. Farrakhan still marching to the same beat. You made me complete. I went from meek to elite, left a palm at your feet. Had me yelling, Hosanna, Hosanna. I want to follow you, brother, but how can I represent you and the God that sent you? You just don't know. I got issues, but I wish you peace of mind till Allah come get you. And you ain't even gone yet, and I miss you. When you return, I'ma still be with you, because you taught me how to love that day and how to take a look above that day. Just think, it was a heaven for a thug that day. Oh, man. Man. See, I came to bust a slug that day, but I ain't even hit the bud that day, because you pulled me out the mud that day. That's why I don't give a damn what they say. It was the day that our Lord had made. Until then, I never loved a man, son of man, till I watched you cheat death. Devil said you had a week left, but I watched you rise from your deathbed. Caught the enemy his hand on your nest egg, and it was best said that you wouldn't have been the only one dying, because you showed me how to walk like a giant, bold and defiant, roar like a lion and still testifying. I hope to meet you in Zion. I'm coming up on the rough side, still climbing. I'm trying to go where you go and avoid where you stay from, and be of some use to my nation, and get a consummate knowledge and have patience. If we part ways, though, assalamu alaikum. Because if you have to put a hole in a bow to slay the boy just to separate the sheep from the goat, I nurse my Quran with the words that you spoke, because the next time we see you, that's all that she wrote. But I cherish the days you hurt my feelings, because it was just what I needed to start healing. And God willing, I'll be strong enough. But even if I don't live long enough, I'm thinking maybe if the people hear this song enough, then they will know that they belong with us. It was a blessing that I even heard you calling us. How could the God that's in you be in all of us? Because through you and his Christ, it's involving us. And the life that you live is evolving us. I never loved a man. Ooh, Josh, I gotta say that again, man. I never loved a man. That's why I always get choked up on that song, man. My bad, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But nah, man, I do a lot of spitting out in the community, man. A lot of times people want to hear battle stuff and, you know what I'm saying, rally type stuff, but I'm on the People's Podcast, man. I wanted to, you know what I'm saying? It's believers listening, man. And I wrote that piece for the chief, man.
Praise be to Allah.
Yeah, man. And I want that out in the ether. So praise be to Allah.
That's exactly where we're gonna put it too. Yes, sir. We definitely gonna do that. Now, yeah. Man, it's powerful, man. Bars, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Allah, brother.
Where can we get your music, and how can we support your music?
Yes, sir. Well, you can go to my Bandcamp, right? So that's just bandcamp.com and look up Gat Turner, Gat Turner. I got my project, The Death of Gat Turner. It's on all of the streaming sites, right? This project could be on all of the streaming sites as well, but I wanted to sell it first. You know what I mean? The enemy, man, he found a way to divide a penny. So, you know what I mean? Like you on the streaming site, man, you got to stream it 1,000 times just to get a penny.
And trust me, I understand. I understand.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah, I'm gonna sell them first, for a little while. And then in a couple of weeks, I'll put them up on the streaming sites,
Yes, and well, how can we buy it? Like you're saying you're gonna sell it, like how do you get it?
You just go to my Bandcamp and you can download it from there. And what I do is I make sure that we put that link that I sent you.
Yes, sir.
You can put that in the comments.
Done deal. Done deal.
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay, well, brother Gat, what advice? We see the toughness of the FOY, the strength of the FOY, but can you tell us advice for a husband?
Yes, sir.
What advice would you get a future husband? What advice would you get a future husband?
Well, I would say as a future husband, you need to listen more than you talk, right? Now, as FOI, man, we are good talkers, right? We can go somewhere and blow the spot up, you know what I mean? But, you can't do your wife like that, though. So I would say that if you are considering taking a wife, I would say before you do that, you need to watch every lecture that you can get from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on marriage and how to have a successful marriage. He is the example, right? So I would say do that first, right? I would say also follow our way, right? We have a particular way of devotion, right? We don't just go in the club and find no woman.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? So I would say, if, even though now we living in a time where we're not even in the mosque, this is the I am the mosque time. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
Right. So, but I would say still try to hold fast to our way. Try to hold fast to our way, man. I would say go through the courtship process. The courtship process is just a process of discovery. Just because you're courting somebody don't mean it's your girlfriend. So you don't need to be kissing on her and trying to claim her like she yours. No, So follow our way of devotion. Follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's counsel, and you'll be all right.
Yeah. Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Excellent.
To Allah.
And yes. And my sister Miriam says bars, and brother Daniel says he loved that 16 there, brother. And I can't wait to put this on YouTube. We got one more question for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
What would you like your legacy to be?
Man, I would like my legacy to be that I was one of the artists that shunned the world. Because, man, I can rap with anybody, and I don't mean that in an arrogant way, but I just know what Allah done gave me, So I done opened up for, some of your favorite artists. And I go open up for them. The people ain't never heard my songs, but I rock that shit. You feel me? And they heard his songs 1,000 times. And he barely getting them. But I could have signed to certain labels. I had, a manager representing me, man. I could have signed to somebody. But I shunned the world, brother, to walk with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, bro. And I want that to be my legacy, that I was one of the artists, man, that didn't want the world. Straight up. Like, when you look at the people, man, that I looked up to, man, like Nate Dogg is dead. Nipsey Hussle is dead. You know what I'm saying? Pimp C is dead. You feel me? Biggie, Tupac, they dead because of the world. But because I shunned the world, because Graco shunned the world, because H2 shunned the world, we still alive, man. I want that to be my legacy, man. And believers might not recognize that right now because the world is still holding on.
Hey, where'd you get that name from?
Gat Turner?
Yes, sir.
Well, I was Gat Turner for a different reason when I was in the world.
Yes, sir.
You know, but but now, you know, Gat Turner, it's like, you know, we say we hurl truth at falsehood till we knock out his brains, right? So the truth that I'm busting is like a slug, right? In the same way that Nat Turner caused a resurrection or an insurrection, that's what I want my words to do in your mind, right? So when you hear my words, it caused you to start thinking a certain way, feeling a certain way, you know? And I'll tell you a good little story right quick, man. I opened up for Ghostface Killer, right? And rocked it, right? And you know, when you get off the stage, people always want to take pictures with you and get your autograph, that kind of stuff, right? So, you know, I'm signing autographs, taking pictures, and it's a brother standing off to the side, right? Looked like he was a Latino brother. So when it was finally his turn to come to me, he started crying, right? And I was like, man, what's wrong, brother? He was like, you shame me. You shame me. And I was like, what you talking about, man? He was like, man, you out here in this arena and you got everybody saying, I am the mosque. You taught everybody how to respond to Assalamu alaikum. You opened up in the name of Allah. And he said, man, I spent most of my life pretending to be Latino, but he's really a Pakistani.
Mm.
He was raised Muslim, but he pretends to be Latino because he didn't want to be associated with Islam in America's climate. And he was like, I can't believe that you was in the club representing Islam like that, you know? And I was like, hey man, if you knew who the Mahdi was, shit, you wouldn't be scared to represent. First thing he told us to do was accept your own and be yourself, right? I said, man, that's what I want you to do. I want you to go study the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you know? And after that, your fear would leave. You know who the Mahdi is, brother, and you follow his representative, that fear would dissipate, right? So yeah, man, all praise is due to Allah. That's what I want my legacy to be.
Yes, sir.
I represented no matter where I was at. Yeah, praise be to Allah.
Beautiful. And that's right, Brother Daniel saying that's right, hurl truth to falsehood. What's his name is the all praise due to Allah. That's touching being with the man in our midst, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Teach, brother. The mosque has to be in us, FOYNGT. Excellent.
Praise be to Allah.
We go to where can we get the resurrection of Gat Turner as well as the death of the Gat Turner? Where can we go get him?
Okay, the resurrection of Gat Turner, man, you just go right to Bandcamp, right, which is bandcamp.com and you know / Gat Turner, GATTURNER. Death of Gat Turner is everywhere, right? So that's been out for a few years now. But that's on all of the streaming sites. So you can go to Apple Music, you can go to iTunes, you can go to Spotify, you can go anywhere, you know, even though it's another brother who's trying to steal my name out there, but you know, it'll be obvious though. I don't even need to go into it.
Okay, yes, sir. Let's get straight to it. All right, resurrection of Gat Turner out everywhere. Brother, I mean, as long as we've been in a nation, I mean, I guess it's just, I mean, you think it's a small nation, but I guess it's big. I can't believe you never had a conversation before, came across each other. But
right. Well, you know, man, I'm older than you, brother. You know, you young and handsome out there doing your thing.
So you know, same thing. So I look forward to meeting you in person, sir.
Yes, sir, brother. Absolutely, man. You know, I was actually just out in Atlanta. You know, I know it was short notice, but I actually got a chance to meet my father. I shouldn't say meet him, but it was the first time I saw him in 30 years, which was very positive experience, man. So I got a fond place in my heart for Atlanta, you know. And you know, and for your father, man, I got a fine place in my heart for your father because that's who I came up under. You know what I mean? So I learned how to be a soldier up under your father, man. You know, he had a way of making you feel bad if you didn't perform your duty. You know what I mean? So praise be to Allah, man.
Yes, sir. Well, can we go back to your father real quick? So you hadn't seen him in 30 years. How did you all reconnect?
You know, funny thing is, so I told you I'm a director of a domestic violence agency, substance abuse clinic, and I'm the only African-American male that's a director of a domestic violence agency in the country, right? And so I'm considered, your brother's considered an expert in that field, right? So I was in Atlanta presenting, right? And my co-presenter, you know, we were going over our PowerPoint, our presentation. You know, when we finished, I just happened to tell her, you know, yeah, you know, my father lives in Atlanta, right? And, you know, she was like, you should go see him. I was like, you know, well, you know, he's getting old. It's COVID America. I don't want to just pop up on him. She was like, so, you know, go see him. You know, I was like, I don't really know him. She's like, I'll look him up, you know. So she was speaking with so much force and power that I said, maybe I'm supposed to see him. So when we Googled him, his name came right up. And I swear, brother, I had been Googling him, man, for years, and I couldn't find him. But this particular day, popped right up. His address, his phone number, I called him. I left a message. He called me back within 2-3 minutes. Yeah, and we hooked up the next day, probably about 6-7 hours. We reconciled, you know, and I realized that Allah really wasn't doing that for me. He was doing it for him, you know, so that he could get some peace with his lack of being a father in my life, you know. But I told him, man, you can thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for that, man. You know, the minister put that forgiveness in my heart for you, because I understand how America can break a black man, you know. And, you know, maybe Allah didn't want you in my life when you had alcohol problems, drug problems, you know what I'm saying? Domestic violence problems. You would have did more damage than good. So I can see Allah's hand in it, and I forgive you, you know. And we straight. We done communicated a few times since then.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. Yes, sir. Wonderful. Yes, sir. Excellent. Yeah. Okay, well, great. Well, we're going to leave on that high note. I want to thank everybody who's watching. Allah. Everybody saying praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah.
And thank you, Brother Daniel, for your kind comments. And thank everybody who continue to watch. I look forward to putting this on YouTube tonight. Please like, share, subscribe to the People's Podcast. Yes, this is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Thank you again, Brother Gat Turner.
Thank you, sir. Alaikum salam.
Thank you, sir. All right.